Excuse me.
All right, well, let's start with, I know we all know each other, but since it's being recorded, if we could start with, introductions. Should we do, we'll do parents first this time.
Yeah.
I'm Lee Wheaton, I'm a parent, in the district. I have a child in the, Compass program at Hamilton and a son in, middle school with an IEP.
I'm Kate Mulvaney. I have 2 kids at Hamilton, one who's in an integrated classroom and the other one who's not in district services.
Laura Potter, 3 kids in the district, 1 at Davisville, 1 at Hamilton, and 1 at Stony.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rachel Santo. I'm the Director of Student Services.
I'm Dr. Julie Alfano. I am a special ed coordinator in a lot of different places.
Jackie DiLorenzo, Early Childhood Supervisor. And Erin Earl, I'm good hybrid because I am a parent. I have 2 kids in the district, but also the school committee chair.
Perfect, thank you. So the next item is to approve the meeting minutes from our last meeting, which was in May. We don't have them here,
Just
but somebody has them. Okay, we'll just table that. So Dr. Santo, would you like to give us an update on happenings?
I can do that. I'm also going to do the ESY update for Kendra.
Perfect.
Kendra and Collins are sick. I don't know if you heard me say that.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, they're not doing well. Okay, so I want to start with ESY because it makes better sense chronologically here. So for ESY, we had 147 students who were referred, 121 students attended. That was in the pre-K through 8 program. We had in the 9 to 12 program, we had 22 kids attend. We had 8 kids receiving transition services, and we had 17 kids with walk-in related services like OT and speech. So it was, I think it was the best ESY year in 26 years that I've been doing ESY. It was really amazing. Kids were great, teachers were phenomenal. We saw growth in kids. It was just overall pretty rewarding. We also were able to graduate 3 additional students over the summer, which was exciting. We went, Dr. Earl and I went to the ceremony.
It was so cute.
And they really had worked hard, and their kids with all their own stories, and they really just, it was really moving. Positive Pathways, we added additional kindergarten classroom. We moved the program from the last upper elementary from DA to Fishing Cove. They're doing fantastic. Almost all the kids are all the kids are in general ed at some point of their day, for at least a part of the day, and many of the kids are there for a half to 2/3 of their school day, which is really, truly a huge accomplishment because it can be hard for them, and they're doing a great job. And the teachers, we have new teachers in there, they're doing great. New TAs, everyone's doing a wonderful job. We're continuing with the Teach Town Encore curriculum. That's a curriculum that we use for the Compass classrooms, and actually we were just talking that tomorrow our teachers that use Encore are going to be meeting together in their own little professional learning group. So that'll be really nice for them to share materials and how they use it and things like that. We were able to get more job coaches trained for the high school, so my goal was to have pretty much every TA in the programs at the high school to also be job coach trained, so we had additional people trained. We're very happy because the training was actually free, so it was really, really nice. It's sponsored by ORS and the Department of Ed, I believe. Tomorrow we're doing, Kendra and hopefully is feeling well and is going to be doing our Just Words training, which is part of the Wilson family. So if you know about Wilson reading, we use foundations in the district for all of our students, and then Just Words is kind of in between, and then we have Wilson. We find it particularly successful for kids who have gone through at least book 7 of Wilson, and that's typically a middle school student. So it's a little bit quicker. The students are doing well with it, and we're seeing really nice results. Probably one of the best compliments we got this summer was a woman who's taught with us for a couple summers. Mm-hmm. She's from Connecticut, and she's like, oh my gosh, I can tell you're really working with this middle school group, this intensive resource middle school group. I can really tell that you've been working on reading because boy, they're making progress. So she said it's a marked difference in what she saw last year. So that was really, I guess that's gratifying, knowing that what you're doing and the work you're putting in is getting results. Preliminarily on that end, we looked I very briefly looked at, some data. It looks like we have improved quite a bit of our scores on the RICAS. It's not all open, so I can't say how many points, but we made some really nice improvements and I'm thrilled. We have currently 160 or so people safety care trained. That's our de-escalation training, and they're trained, and I'm calling them trained and maintained, because it's not just a 1-year training, it's an every year training, with the first year being 2 full days and then the recert being a 1 day. So we're maintaining about that many people trained. This is incredibly exciting, so I put it towards the end. North Kingstown High School is being recognized nationally as a unified champion school for Special Olympics. And they'll be awarded a banner for this honor. Their goal is to earn a district banner. That means every school in the district meeting. It's 10 very specific standards. I don't know what all of them are, but they have to meet those standards, but the high school met it. I believe they're the only high school in Rhode Island. The other schools are elementary schools. So their next goal is to really get the whole district to be a banner district. They're having a ceremony. There's all sorts of cool things happening because of that, and more information will be forthcoming. Another really neat project that we're working with the Office of Rehabilitation Services, as well as the One Solution, WON. It is a essentially free to us entrepreneurship program for students, where they work with especially kids at risk and help them with taking an idea, and how do you take an idea and create it into a business. We started with Davisville Academy for our students there, to try to pique some interest in students and how going to school can help you to build your business. And tomorrow, actually, there's a meeting for this to spread into Success Academy at the high school, as well as into our RISE programs.
What was that called, Rachel? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry?
What was it, the overarching thing called?
One, WON. I think it's called the One Solution, actually. It is sponsored by ORS in combination, and they have some grant funds and some teachers that used to work at Briggs, and just a really good group of people. And we started with just one, because we wanted to know kind of what it was all about. They're in several, I think there are 15 different programs in the district, one of them being Harmony Hill, things like that. So they're very used to working with diverse populations. That it's not a problem. So it's kind of an exciting project. We're hoping to see see what happens from that. And then the other things I have are really preschool related, so that's really Jackie.
Yes. I'm very excited to report that things have been going tremendously well with the transition. We didn't even have a tough start. It was just, we eased right into it. It was just fabulous. Absolutely
Just smooth.
fabulous.
Yeah.
I had a lot of parent emails over the summer with, just a lot of questions about the facility and how this is all gonna work. We had met with our facilities director at the time, the police department, Rachel, and we talked about parking. There's limited spots there, so we had to come up with a plan. So we're doing a drive-through drop-off arrival. I was really feeling anxious about taking little 3-year-olds out of their cars, but we created a system that's really working well, and the parents are loving it. So now they don't, like the other day when it was pouring, they pull right out into the alcove, put kids in. They do still have to buckle them into their seatbelts, because we're not going to be responsible for that. But it's just, my staff is wonderful. It's just a calm, and it's a great environment. So I'm very pleased to report that it's going so well. And it was just we eased right into it. The transition was very smooth, so it's a great facility, it's a great building. The playground's gonna be started November 1, so we're really excited about that as well. So, yeah.
How about the meeting on October 24th?
October 24th, we're having an informational meeting for the Momentum Clinic that is now going to be located in our building. So we're just gonna invite all of the preschool parents, whoever is interested, to come, and I'm sorry, I forgot her name.
Jen Marshall.
Jen Marshall will be there to answer questions and talk about the clinic and really what the intent is for that. So yeah, we're excited about that too. I have about 10 families that we briefly spoke to about, and they're very excited about it. So
I have some questions on it. So is it like are they just renting out space in the building, but you're going to be working with them together, or it's just like a resource for families?
it's a resource for families.
Resource for families. nice.
Added
And
convenience.
yeah, and convenient, what we found was there's quite a few barriers to some of our families obtaining services.
Yeah.
Once we help them, we always will help with the paperwork, but it's more than just the paperwork, getting an appointment, getting a spot, there's not a lot of spots. And then many of our families have significant transportation difficulties, so by having it, in the neighborhood and close by many of our families, it is kind of taking away some barriers, so it was a way to get more intensive services for our little ones that really need it, who deserve it, who qualify for it, through, you know, through their insurance or really Medicaid and Katie Beckett funds, so it was a way to get that. So they're renting that space, it's not ours, but we do have a very clear understanding that it's not meant to take the place of older students being pulled out of school to be put into clinic, because we do have some cases of students who are not attending school, but they're attending AB clinics instead. So that was part of our agreement, and they're really all about getting kids ready for school. So we're really thrilled.
I'm excited, yeah.
We're very excited to have it in a good partnership. I think it'll be good, yeah. So I didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Dr. Earl, you want to give your update?
Yeah, sure. Just a couple. So the school year started off very busy, and so we've been working through a lot of things. And some of the things that they've already mentioned are, you know, things that we were super excited to support, which is great. And we're excited about the playground, especially because some of the delay was trying to make sure that it was more inclusive, and trying to figure out the money for that. And so, as much as I would have loved it to be in September 1, I think like the long-term gain of that will be good for students. So we're excited about that.
How long is it expected to take?
I thought they said by the end
At
of
the end of
November.
November, I think
Just a
once
couple of
once they
weeks.
get in there and get the ground done with the, I think it's
Yeah,
not gonna
quick,
be
I
that.
think. And so some things, last night we had we're focusing on trying to connect with the community regarding safety of students in school. And so last night, Dr. Duga and the police and the fire department hosted a kind of an informational session regarding safety. So that was kind of the first step in us trying to learn more from families and also educate families about what the district does to keep students safe. Ms. Lima and I are hosting a listening session for families on October 29th on the same topic. We've been trying to do like themes for the different listening sessions. The last one we did was on before and after school care to try to learn more about those challenges that our families are having, and then the 29th will be on safety. We also are going to be getting some updates from the administration over the next couple of meetings. So RICAS, as Rachel mentioned, we'll be getting updates on that. The SIT team, so the school improvement teams, will be presenting their information, as well as some updates on the vision of the learner, which Mr. Mezzanotte, the assistant superintendent, is still working on, and I think they're actually doing some work tomorrow with their PD day on that.
Yes.
The biggest things that the school committee obviously oversees, there's 3 big things coming up. Obviously budget, which you know I always talk about how early that timeline is. We'll start having those conversations probably in December, kind of what we'll be doing initially for the budget. Policy is always a big thing, reviewing policies. We've been working through those all summer, so always curious about SELAC's opinion and thoughts on that. And then also the teacher contract will be up again this spring, and so that's another one that we'll be working on as far as impact for SELAC. That designates things like how many students can be in a classroom, TA support, all of those sort of things, hours, etc. And so that's a big one that we did when I first came onto the school committee, but now it's up again. It's a 3-year contract. So those are the kind of overarching things. If there's anything else people want information on, happy to talk about it. We're doing the buildings, we're doing the CIP for the improvements at the different schools.
What's the CIP?
Great question. A CIP is a capital improvement plan, and so we have had the bond, and it covered 2 different areas, the new middle school and then improvements to the other facilities. And so there's basically this ginormous list of things that we need to do in all the buildings, and the school committee prioritized it. And so we're actually starting, I think if it hasn't already starting within the next couple of weeks on some of those projects. So things like the high school roof, some rugs I think at Hamilton, water filling stations, in all of the schools that don't have them, so the kids can actually fill up water bottles. It's gonna be so exciting.
It's so exciting.
Yeah,
It's exciting for us too.
I got 2 in at the high school last year, and I was like, that was my biggest accomplishment. No, it really matters, and that's what the students were advocating for, and it's important to them. And so, so some of those smaller things are gonna start happening as part of the bond project, as we also move on with the middle school, so.
How was the turnout last night at the safety meeting?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I would say there was about 15 to 20 parents and guardians there. So like, success is very odd for things like that. I think it was good because the people that were there were really interested in the topic, had questions and things that they wanted to pose to Dr. Duva. But like for me, that's always a big challenge. You know, we have probably 5,000 parents and guardians in the district, and so I always, you know, try to figure out the best way to reach folks and when and how. And so low in the context of who could have come, but I do feel like those who came, it was valuable. We'll be posting the presentation on our website, and then as I said, we're doing other things to try to hear about that topic from folks. So low is the answer, but the people that came mattered. So
I think it's such a good idea though. I worked in child welfare for a long time, and the current DCYF director, I mean, I was so impressed with the way that she did. She really, really advocated for encouraging, you know, her presence to do listening tours everywhere, non-for-profits, you know, with clients themselves and foster care homes. So I just, you know, any way that you can, I don't know, increase opportunities. I think that's a really nice idea.
Thanks.
Any questions?
The focus on safety, like, it's a broad word.
It is. Yeah, so what Dr. Duva talked a lot about last night is there's kind of 2 different safety lenses. There's in the building safety, so how are we helping students keep themselves safe? How are we de-escalating students? They talked a lot about social emotional learning. They talked a lot about, what's the training that y'all do? Safety care, and then also,
Alice training, they're talking
yeah, we
about,
got to that, but
the suicide training.
there's a lot of things that they
There's a
do
lot of
internally
trainings.
to help students safe. So safe for themselves, the suicide training. They talked about the partnership that we have with the foundation and Sandy Hook for the See Something, Say Something, which is anonymous reporting systems that students and families have access to. So they talked a lot about like that type of safety, and then they also talked about how the schools and the police department and the fire department like are prepared for any like possible things that possibly could happen at the schools. And they talked about kind of those external threat safety things as well, and working through some of that and explaining the process. And then we also focused on communication if things happen. That's an area that we definitely wanted to hear more from families on. You know, if something is happening at the school, you know, we try to communicate out, but we can't communicate out everything because there's confidentiality and things like that. And so trying to figure out that balance and hearing more from families, because, you know, we want to keep them informed, but also not anxious. And then in 2025, it hits Facebook instantly. And, you know, so trying to figure out those pieces of how we can better communicate with families when things are happening. So it was a little bit of both, like with that lens of the internal safety of their own students and staff, and then those external threats. So.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess we can get into new business because we've got a bit of a list. Do we need to keep recording or should we?
Yeah, I would go. I would record until like you get to the very end, probably, right, Rachel? Like we're talking about bylaws and speakers and stuff.
Yeah, I think right up to them.
Yeah,
That works. I'd
So
agree.
I guess I don't know if this is a question for you or who it's a question for, but does anyone know where the bylaws are or where we can find them?
It's a good
'Cause
question.
I've looked online, it's not on the website, so we're just trying to figure out, like, with us trying to have more responsibility, we wanna make sure we're like doing things appropriately.
Yeah, so so that was a question I asked when I came onto the school committee, and because SELAC obviously is a group that is governed by the state, as I'm sure you know, like the who needs to be on it, what it needs to encompass, like all comes from the state. not from the district. And so one of those things that a SELAC needs is bylaws. And so I also couldn't find it. Rumor is that past SELAC chair Mary might have it. So I can definitely follow up with her on that for y'all. But my personal recommendation is I would start fresh and adopt new bylaws probably. They're not, we can help y'all put things together. I feel like even if you find them, you're gonna wanna edit them extensively, and so it might just be quicker to write a couple page bylaw up and move on.
I know I have sample bylaws.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could
And
find
I'm
it.
almost positive I've seen the bylaws, so I will look in my office tomorrow afternoon. I have
Okay.
time tomorrow.
We can ask
So I think
Mary.
if we
Make
could find
myself
it
a
great,
little
but like, I
Yeah.
wouldn't look too hard, I would just,
Yeah, I don't think,
Yeah.
Mary wants to come to the meeting still. She's just training her dog tonight, but we'll see her.
Yeah,
Ask her.
oh, I'm
Yeah.
sure she'll.
I see her at,
Yeah.
she's on the DEI committee as well, so.
Yeah.
But again, I think there's probably some models that you could work off. But if we could get those done, some sort of draft maybe to bring to the November meeting, that would be super helpful, cause one of my goals is to get, with working with Rachel's SELAC in 100% compliance, with the things that we need to do, so.
Yeah.
That would be like a really good step forward.
Yeah,
Related
to me,
that-
it's a balance of being a parent meeting, but also an official meeting,
Yeah.
we don't know what the rules are. It's really like, and I don't love rules by like my self nature, but I can understand they are important, and that's how we get credit for stuff and all of those reasons why. But we don't know what they are, and so we're trying to get a sense of what they are, and so we've learned that the agenda goes 1 week ahead of time. But that's basically the end of our knowledge about official rules. Are those available? Like, or is that what would be in the
Yeah.
bylaws? Or
No,
are
so
they-
it's not rules per se, like more
It's
like
more of a
guidelines,
procedure.
yeah, guidelines from the state.
Okay.
I don't have my computer today, but I'm looking for it on my phone for y'all.
Stephanie has, let me just say, she has the process, cause they just wrote it out.
Okay.
There it is, hang on, I'll look for it right now.
Yeah,
So we can definitely find that for you.
just because that way we can make sure we stay in the whatever the compliance
Mhm.
of things are. We just don't know what they are, so it's hard to follow rules
Yeah, that makes sense.
when they are unknown.
For speaker planning, we were thinking that it might be a good idea to have a speaker every other meeting instead of every single meeting. That way we can allow for time to have like open discussion, or if other parents come and have things that they wanna bring up. I mean, our goal is to like drum up more interest and get more people to come to the meeting, so we're hoping that, if we do a speaker every other meeting, we can use the meetings without a speaker to just kind of, have more open discussions if there are any topics that people wanna discuss. So we just wanna throw that out there, get feedback, see if everyone thinks that that plan is okay. So we're thinking we do a speaker next month, right? We don't have anything officially confirmed yet, but we were throwing around some topics, like, you had the good one on the bullying, right? Was that you?
Yeah, but I don't have a speaker.
Yeah.
for that,
I have a very good speaker for that,
Yes, that's right,
however,
Rachel.
she just had her mother just died, so I don't wanna approach her right now, but
Yeah.
maybe later in the year.
Yeah,
Sure. Sure.
we're also thinking about having,
Trust.
special needs
Special
trust.
needs
That's
trust.
like a really big topic for a lot of parents that just have no idea what it is or what to do, so, we've talked, I think there's a few people that have done it and might have a connection, so maybe we'll work on that one for the next meeting. That one and the Katie Beckett, is a big one, so those will be two topics that we'll try to focus on.
That's great.
for the
I have
next
a
couple.
question. One of the ideas for a presentation was a special ed through the years in NK. I wanted to see what you all thought about that, and if that's something that maybe we could do this year.
Yeah, that
that
would
be
actually
cool?
be a fun project.
Yeah, and I mean, we
For
could
me,
help in any
actually.
way.
I could do that.
Like
What?
Simple direct Carol to a meeting.
So,
Well, also, yeah, I know.
Yeah, and I think-
tired.
yeah, I think our idea was, the premise being every transition is sort of anxiety provoking for parents.
Yeah,
And so, again,
yeah, like what it's like when you
What
first get,
what are we heading towards, so through the years, I think that would be really cool, so parents could come, ask questions. I think it'd be amazing to have like a staff from each program,
Yeah.
so they
Come
can do
talk.
their fun pony show.
Maybe it could be kind of like a, not a workshop, that's not what we're looking for, almost like a carousel where everyone, they get to each take a turn and here's preschool, here's kindergarten, and yeah, our
That's
specialized
cool.
programs, that'd be very cool.
Yeah.
And then we
Okay,
can
cool.
end with Heather LaBelle.
I know, right? Wow.
She, just as I didn't bring this in my note, but Heather LaBelle is in the SAIL program. She probably developed 5 or 6 different new businesses this summer for the kids to work at, including like the Kayak Center, Ocean State Job Lot, Walgreens,
Wow.
yeah. So that was really awesome.
So, could we do that?
Yeah, yeah, we can do that.
Okay, we'll plan it out. We recently started a Google group today, actually. So we have our own little NKSD email alias. I don't know, we're just trying to figure it all out, but we're hoping to like treat it as a place where we can save like the meeting minutes, the agendas and everything. I know it goes like on our website and stuff, but that way we'll have access to it and we can give you access and share all that information with you too.
Skipping forward, that's related to one of the questions in there was an NKSELAC at NKSD.net. There's no one with awareness of the password or how to access that?
we could get
Or
that.
The
can you get it?
email?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Does
can
it go
get
to
that
you?
for you.
Or does it go to you?
No, I
No.
would not get
No, but we
SELAC.
could get
But I
Chelsea,
can,
so-
I can get it reset
Yeah.
for you.
Cause we just have no one has ever.
Yep. Well, and also,
And I do email
as you're
back.
thinking about that, if you, the district's on a Google Suite, and so if you do get access to that Google email address, you'll have all of the Google stuff connected to that email
Oh,
address.
that'd
So
be
like,
great.
where you can save
Yes,
things and
yes.
everything. So
Yes,
you
you
could
get a
use a
drive.
different one, but that is Google too.
Yeah.
So
Alright,
something
so
that we
I'll work
can-
on that right now, I'll put it
Yeah.
down, okay. So I have my computer
'cause
out so I can
we
do
don't
it
want
right away so
anybody-
I'll forget.
Private emails to have to go
Oh,
out to any
yes.
public space.
So that would be a place where everything could be saved.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Yep.
great.
You'd have
Yeah.
your own drive.
honestly, once you get in, you might find stuff.
I don't want stuff, but just like in one
No,
place.
like in a good way. Like you might find the old bylaws, like find old agendas with ideas and things you think are cool. Like yeah, there'd be fun archives in there, so we
That
can
would be
also-
funny if it was there, it may be there.
Yeah.
I'll get, I found, so I worked here a decade ago, when they gave me my email, I had emails back from 2005. They were like
Yeah, like circle back.
archived and things, I'm like, oh my god, I totally forgot about that, It was crazy. Yep, so, reach away. Let's see, I've got it right now, I'm working on it.
late bus, is that? This was Amanda's item, but, is the late bus available for all students this year? I don't know.
I know that I heard them ordering the bus for Best Buddies, so I'm assuming so.
Yeah, so I can give just a general update on it, and I remember that there was a specific question regarding that, but, so, with the late bus, the goal from the school committee originally was that we would have a late bus Monday through Thursday, to be able to help students, be able to stay for after school things, whatever they might need, et cetera. I do think that we have run into some challenges with being able to have the amount of buses that they need to be able to do that. And so it seemed like they were running not quite as often as we had been hoping, and also not every night where there was things going on. So like, for example, like cross country, I think at DMS is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, there's not a late bus Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And so I know the school committee was inquiring into that about what resources might be needed to be able to provide it. But also if folks in SELAC have any suggestions, advice, or barriers that we need to be aware of, definitely feel free to send it to the administration or to the school committee, because that's something we look at every budget cycle and ways that we can improve that part, so. Anyone know anything else?
Yeah,
that we didn't?
I suspect it was really so that students could stay after for Best Buddies and Unified Sports. As I said, I did hear them today ordering a bus, so I think it's probably fine, but we can double check with Michelle.
Yep.
And the teachers to make sure.
I guess I have a question, cause the next item is mine. How is like the transportation department and the school department like related? So if we have an issue with the bus, can we voice it here, or do we have to call the transportation department? I've never been really clear on that, so.
Yeah, it's a good question. So the director of transportation in the district is a NKSD employee.
Okay.
So Michelle Hume is her name. She
Yes.
works for NK. She's just like Rachel is, like as far as an employee goes. The buses are independently owned. We have a contract with them, but everything goes through Michelle because she works with the bus drivers. But if there is a concern, you can, we can
But
kind
with
of,
the exception of the minibuses, those we
those we own.
Those we own.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so my question is.
Well,
And
we
we
technically
hire-
own, we honestly own all of them,
And we
but it's a whole.
hire the
yes.
drivers and the
Yeah.
monitors for that, yeah.
So how many buses are there that have the lifts on them?
One or two.
I think there's two, cause I have two come to my school,
Two.
Yeah.
two that I've seen that come to my school.
We just had like so many issues this summer particularly, and like maybe at the beginning of the school year where like the lifts wouldn't work or they would
That does happen at times.
stop and then we just, I don't know, it would be like the bus driver would be hanging on it, like, trying to fix it, like, so I guess my question was just, how are they maintained, like who does it? Cause I don't know, it's just all at once, we had so many issues where like,
I
you
do know
had to drive
part
her
of
to
it.
school cause they wouldn't work and.
Yeah, during ESY it was tough because when they service the buses is typically in the summer, as much as they can to not interrupt the school year, but obviously during ESY, we use every single minibus that the district has because we have so many students come to ESY. And they use the large buses for MTSS, and so in order to fit all of the students on the minibuses, depending on which day it was, like there was one point where one of those buses was being serviced, so we had a minibus that had like a great number of kids on it for like a week until that other one was serviced. So typically, and that's probably why there was a little bit of difficulty, it's usually us because there's such a short amount of time between the end of the school year to actually get the buses serviced. But I'm sure Michelle
And
could
one of them was
probably-
being serviced this summer on top of that.
one,
Yeah,
one
well,
had
that's
been
better,
better.
and the other one wasn't
Yes,
working.
yes,
Right.
exactly.
So, okay, well, knock on wood, we haven't
So,
had any.
but if there's issues like that, you can reach out to me too,
Yeah.
again, then I can contact Michelle, I'm happy to do that.
Cause like,
Anything like that, we
We're s-
kind of problem
yeah.
solve.
fortunately now we have our wheelchair accessible minivan, so we could drive her to school, but I just think like, what if we didn't? And then there were so many days where like, there were issues, so.
Yes.
No, we
Yeah,
don't.
thank you for sharing that though, we
Yeah,
can
that's
most
helpful.
certainly.
Yeah.
Think about that and also think of a contingency plan, right? So that's what I always like to like, try to stay ahead of plans like that, so like, hey, if the lift isn't working one day, what would we do as a district? So I think it's good to,
Okay.
to pre-think about those issues as well, so.
I know in
we
the
can note
past,
it.
Michelle had rerouted students so that the bus with the like, there was one working, like, cause I know it's happened a few times in preschool, cause I have a few children that use the lift. But this was like last year, but she would like change the buses, so the colors would change, but the kids would stay on the same bus, you know, so she utilized the bus that was working and, yeah, so.
Well, I think
She will
maybe just,
shift.
I think it's really putting in a reminder that if we're gonna service it, maybe it could be in between,
Mhm.
at the end of school,
Yeah.
before ESY
Right,
starts,
yeah.
it's usually a week and a half or 2 weeks there.
Yeah.
I'll talk to Michelle.
And even what about like checking that before they like leave, cause like they were showing up at your house,
Oh,
right?
yeah. There
And
was-
like didn't know that the lift was not working.
And part of it was that it worked earlier.
Yeah, no, that
So like
was-
it worked when they did the high school run,
Yeah,
and then when they
I
got
remember.
there-
They said it was working in the morning. No, it was, there was a different issue where they didn't remove a seat on the bus, so there
Yes.
wasn't room for the wheelchair.
Yes.
And that was, it was a new driver and so.
yes.
That only happened once.
But like, is there a checklist, like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean, like a checklist, like, right? Cause, you know, they're
Yeah.
showing up at a house, you
Yeah.
know, unprepared, so.
No, we can absolutely.
I'll
Work with them
touch
on that.
base with Michelle. And yeah, not excusing, but also it was different drivers over the summer that may not always be with that particular bus. And once you know your bus, you know your bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
Accessibility monitoring throughout the schools and community, I think that this was Mary's item. So I'm not sure what she wanted us to talk about, but I think this probably came up because of the new playground and she ended up being involved in that, but I don't know if it was a result of her proactively kind of seeking that out or how that worked, but I guess maybe having more parent involvement in things like that.
I think too, so in the, on the DEI committee, which is diversity, equity and inclusion, she had brought that up as far as trying to have some sort of facility assessment of doing some sort of assessment of the different facilities and kind of how we would approach that. And so the DEI committee hasn't met yet this year, but I'm sure it will be on their agenda as well. But I do know that she wanted to make sure that there was cross collaboration with this group and that group as we were getting feedback regarding the facilities and areas that we may need to improve. I put together a list for her of all of the things that we were upgrading or changing as part of that CIP, the capital improvement plan, that had connection to that already, because we had identified a bunch as part of that process. But we're also curious to get families' feedback on some things that maybe we don't realize, like it might not be broken, but it still might not be helpful. And so I think her goal is to try to learn a little bit more about that and see how the two groups can support each other. So more to come probably after the DEI meeting.
And those would probably be for to go through with some of the special ed teachers and the teacher assistants, right? Because they're the ones who navigate the buildings, right, with kids, and they're the ones who get stuck in a hallway that is a lot harder to navigate than others or something. So
That's a great suggestion, yeah.
So participation, obviously that's been a struggle for these meetings, and that's one, as I mentioned, one of our priorities is to really try to get the word out and get more parents to these meetings. We have dates for the cafe connections, right? So that's, these two have been kind of spearheading that. I don't know if we're gonna put the flyers somewhere where parents can get them, or if you have any ideas on
We usually send them out with the fun flyers.
the cafe connections?
Yes.
Oh, good, okay.
Yeah, as long as you have I know that you often have beautiful flyers, and I asked Joni to send them out.
Okay, yeah, awesome.
Can we put them in the schools or community or post them? What do you think?
I think it's doing that.
Yeah, the principals would be able to post that. I know at Forest Park they have a board, right when you kind of pick up your kids, I'm sure they put something in there.
Yeah.
Or even
I mean, I know,
for each school.
Yes,
That go
yeah.
out, sometimes we can put it on.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
what I
Each
was
school
gonna-
has
Shannon,
Yeah,
Some people
does
have newsletters.
newsletters that we do, yeah.
that's what I was gonna ask, sorry.
I don't know if we're thinking the same thing, but Shannon, for example, she, in the kids' backpack, she'll put SELAC announcements, and, she would probably put this, I think that would be fantastic.
So we use
that
Google
could-
Classroom in preschool, so when you guys send flyers like that, I share it with all my preschool teachers, and then they upload it onto their Google Classroom so every parent can see it. So that's another way that we do it,
Okay.
And
from
then,
anything that.
Yeah, and Shannon updates
What
the
were you gonna
SELAC
ask?
Facebook.
It sounded like there was a question though.
I was gonna say, so I get obviously the weekly WMS and Hamilton newsletters, and there's usually a calendar at the bottom of events, and I never see CELAC listed there. So I'm wondering if we can do it for somehow get that added for all the schools, just so it's on those emails and people are seeing it.
That's a good idea.
I know at the high school they added, because they have little icons that you can push, they added SELAC information there for us last year. So if you send me the dates of all your cafe connections in one, I will send out to all the principals and the people that do those newsletters. It's not always the principal who does that, to make sure to add them.
Okay.
And we can also do the flyers, and then Shannon always updates the Facebook for that, so
Yeah.
I think hopefully that will help.
Yeah, that's great.
I think it's just a matter of consistency, it just
Yeah,
doesn't seem
all
that
the
all
time.
the schools are Stony has CELAC, I know Stony's principal, Miss Hitchner, she added CELAC at the bottom. So it's just, I don't know, I have a lot of kids in different schools, so it's just inconsistent, so.
Of where to look at it. on
Well,
their
yeah,
websites,
so I think the consistency would be,
I get all of them too, so if there's a question of is it in, is it not, the school committee gets every school's newsletter, and so I can kind of try to keep an eye on it to see where it is popping up and who might not be getting the information and who we need to connect with.
Yeah, if you can.
Because some of them are pretty good. Yeah.
I think why they're not consistent is because every school has their own web manager type thing, so they're not in the same spot, but yeah.
A lot of them have been
I
moving
have some of them, I don't
to,
have all of them.
yeah, a lot of them have been moving to like newsletter management systems too, which is super helpful because they can just put it in and then it like, it
Right,
saves
over
them
and
time
over.
and stuff,
Yeah.
yeah, so,
I don't think anybody would be opposed, it's more like if we can just have the principals be like, here are these dates to include on their calendars for both the meetings and then the cafe connections.
I have something to mention, and this is always, I don't think there's ever a good answer, because I think everybody has, when they leave school and they have their families to go to, the time of the meetings. Do you think this time is good for families to come out? Just curious, just putting that out there.
It's after school activities
Okay.
Yeah.
is the,
But it just,
Right.
like I said, just putting it, I try to plan things for families, and it's
Sure.
never good. Well, even the
Yeah.
momentum meeting, Rachel and I were going back and forth, when do you think is a good time? Like, I don't think there is a
I
good
was
time
just gonna
for,
say that.
for any family to all come together at one time, so I was just questioning,
Yeah,
like,
it's a
the
good
time of the
question.
meeting, it is a little bit later at night,
It's a good
do you think
question.
that just prefers?
Maybe we could
family?
make one of our meetings earlier and just see if like, if we get a better turnout, I don't know.
Like I
Because
know
you're right,
last year when we did the
Next one.
cafe
Because if it's not
connections.
during after school activities and sports, it's during dinner and
Dinner and
bedtime.
bedtime.
Right.
There's
Right.
never really
Yeah.
a good time, it's difficult, I get
Yeah.
it. But I'm just curious, we've been doing this time for a while now, maybe if we change it a little bit,
I think
just
flexibility
putting it
would-
out there.
yeah.
would be good, that was our idea, you know, to scatter, you know, to do this cafe thing
Yeah.
on different days
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
just
that's-
to
yeah.
just reach a broad range of people,
Yeah, it was a great
so-
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have your meetings for the rest of the year posted, but we most certainly can change them. You know, like if you wanted to try around a different day or a different time, like you definitely
The
could.
day is a little trickier.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to create the calendar where there wasn't conflicts.
Yeah.
Well, we
on
could check
meetings.
though.
But we
know
could
what
check them
dates.
if you wanted to try a different day or different time is easier.
Mhm.
Cause I don't think
We
there's,
can
in
start
general,
with
there
that.
aren't standing meetings on Thursdays, which is why it was a good date for you guys.
So hard.
And let us know, Jack, I think also on our flyer for Momentum, we should say, if you're unable to attend, let us know and if you're interested in information, we can,
Forward it?
forward the
Okay, yeah,
information.
we'll put that on
Just
there.
add it a little bit, because I'm just thinking.
We're doing it at 4:00. I don't know if that's a
We'll
good
try
time,
it.
like, you know, we're trying to
We
just.
thought about noon, maybe, or like 1 to 2 in preschool, we're not really sure when it,
Yeah.
we're gonna try it.
I know we talked about this at the last meeting, but having a student for the year, have we ever had one? Does anyone know?
Yeah, there has been one in the past, but we can
what
certainly
do they
ask
do?
teachers for
They just come to the meetings?
there should be a student representative on this
Yeah.
meeting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we
And teachers too, I was sending out an email about that.
Yeah, so we have, that was one of my, in the school committee's goals, I think like 2 years ago, was to try to get students on all of the advisory committees. And we just added ones to policy, I think last meeting, so I think that was the last one, and the high school students are unbelievable. Like, they are so smart and so good and so fun, and they do such a good job in the committees, like I think so if you had representation here, like I would definitely encourage like whatever student, like someone that maybe has some connection to, like either has an IEP or like something like that, where they could help represent that voice of students that are getting, you know, services at school. I think they'd be awesome. And Shavali, the principal at the high school, is phenomenal in connecting, like giving suggestions. I think that's how we've gotten some folks for other ones.
Should we
Send an email right now.
Should
I got
we-
it.
Yeah, you sure?
Okay. I'm asking for recommendations for student
also,
representatives.
That's
You know, like students that are wanting to go into special ed too, like they're like, we find that sometimes they're like career connected, like some of the students that are on some of the other ones, like it's things that they're hoping to do in college and beyond or whatever, so.
We have quite a few peer buddies and things like that.
Mm.
I'm also asking for more teachers to participate. Alright, send that out.
And then superintendent, does anyone know if Dr. Dubo would like to join our meeting? I feel like he came, was it last year or the year before?
2 years
There were a
ago.
couple that
He
he
and
and
Rob
Rob came.
Yeah.
But then I didn't see them again, so maybe it would be nice to have.
Well, so if we invite them, they most certainly will come. We try to spread out the administration, so like, cause Rachel's here,
Yeah.
like Ken and Rob normally wouldn't come, you know, cause they have certain ones that they go to that Rachel and other folks don't go to, so like, I know Ken is super willing to do anything, probably to like his fault, of being busy and tired sometimes, but if there was something specific, he would happily come, if y'all wanted to invite him, but we do try not to make him go to every single after school meeting kind of thing,
There's a lot.
yeah.
There are a lot
Yeah,
of
like this
sub
week
policy
I think we had,
meetings. 3.
no, there's like, I think 7 or 8 different
Oh,
things
yeah,
that
yeah,
happened
yeah.
after school that we went to, so.
Yeah, and then the safety meeting on top of that.
Yeah, so, but he would be happy to come if there's a specific one, especially with his background, like he would gladly come.
Okay, I think we talked about this a little bit, but printing flyers or materials. Is that?
So, yeah, I always do the agendas for you, but the brochures, Sid's group did that, the RISE crew, so they can make those for you too. Just need to let us know.
Okay.
They made a whole bunch of brochures to pass out.
We would just email that.
Yeah, just email it, and if you email it to me, I'll get it to them and make sure they do it.
And with those, so we have those brochures, maybe we could they be sent out, like could a paper one be sent to special ed parents, right, like as a way of, like,
The brochure.
yeah, like could
Oh,
they
we
go home
give
with
them out.
backpacks?
You give
So
them out.
we give them out every time. So they're all for every special education teacher, pretty much, even service providers, myself as well. It's included in every email that we send. So it's part of our email signature.
Okay.
The link to your website, and then we also, for pretty much every single meeting that we schedule, we always send that along with the procedural safeguards.
Okay,
And then we always have the printed copies available at the meeting too.
okay.
So we spam people.
Yeah.
It's on,
It's not working though, so I
It's
think
not
I understand the
working.
concern, yeah.
Yeah, I've given them out personally to people, they just don't come.
We could just redo the flyer, and I just feel like no one knows like what it is, or maybe I don't know.
It was redone, they're giving new flyer.
Well, yeah,
Keith did, right?
but I mean,
But like make it
different information on it, like.
I found one successful thing, and I think I offered this the first year, and then I think we just dropped it, but I actually found what was more successful were almost like a business card magnet that parents could put on their refrigerator. So you would I did like little magnets at SELAC, I used a cute little print, and then I just made the dates on it, and I put it on the Facebook page and the website,
QR code.
or whatever design you want, and you make it those little business card, and we handed them out in meetings and put them on the fridge. That seemed to be
Yeah,
successful.
that's better, cause people just.
It's
throw
always
out
there,
flyers.
yeah.
So if we get that magnet design made,
Yeah.
how do the magnets become magnets?
You send it to me and we'll get it to Vista Friend. or
There we
whatever.
go.
Magic.
Ooh, I love that idea.
I can make a magnet, there we go.
South Kingstown has a pretty like succinct way that they explain their SELAC. Like I remember when I like first was on the school committee, I was Googling things and it just is very simple. Like it's like who we are, what we do, who should get involved, like why should get involved. And it like is very clean. So if you just Google like SK SELAC,
Yeah.
like I think kind of along your lines of like how do we explain this to people and how do we encourage them to come and make them realize why it's important for them. Like I think maybe that is a barrier. Cause like to be honest, before I joined the school committee, I did not know that SELAC existed, and I had a student who had an IEP at that time. These nice folks weren't here, so they, I'm sure, would have told me. But, you know, so I think part of it's just, like, not quite understanding it, and then even when you do understanding it, like, understanding that, like, you can come and that, like, it's, like, why you should come. I think that's part of it. Because, like, sometimes people will know it exists, but they don't think it's for them to come to it. They think it's more like some of our other advisory committees where it's like,
I like the word committee
Yeah.
scares people
Yeah,
into
like it's a
thinking
bigger
like,
deal.
oh, it's
or
so
whatever.
It's a
formal.
bigger
But I
committee.
have to agree with Erin, I think people just don't know what we are
Yes,
and what we
that's
do.
Yeah.
And especially my preschool families coming in, I think I've mentioned this in other meetings, is that they're getting a ton of information from me first off the bat, you know, about their child and services and referral and eligibility and then you go, and here's your SELAC group, Joy.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know, I mean, do we have like an informational type session of who we are, what we do, what, you know, for parents who don't really understand what we are?
I like that idea.
You can make a video and post it on the website where we could like have people, like where you guys are just talking about like what it is and how you'd like them to join kind of thing. Cause a flyer is great, but like a little video kinda goes a long way, like even if, you could also post it to the
Make it
Facebook page
TikTok.
and stuff. Yeah, right?
Make it TikTok.
We gotta get our kids involved in that.
Taylor Swift songs and.
Use a sticky song.
Just got all scratchy.
I think there's a lot of paper, so sometimes
Yeah.
it's like, that's why I thought like when you did those little magnets, things like that stuck out a little
Yeah.
bit more.
And I think we get a lot of participation when we have a speaker and the
Yeah.
topic is relevant to
Yeah.
what they, what they wanna hear.
Yeah.
But to come to a general meeting, well, what does that mean? Like,
Yeah,
they,
that's true.
so I think that's
Mhm.
kind of the feeling I get sometimes when I'm trying to explain SELAC to my families at meetings, and it's just kinda like, shoot.
Yeah.
I know how to increase participation,
How?
make parents mad, and then they
Yeah.
come. So our largest group
We don't
of
want
SELAC,
to.
our largest group of SELACs were in the past where people were really mad about things, but let's not go that way, but I'm
No.
silly, obviously, but that's when I've seen people come out.
Yeah.
The other time was, it was something, the title of it was something like, similar to your idea, but like the changing of special ed over time. People somehow thought I was getting rid of special ed, so they all came. I'm like, what are you, I was shocked. I'm like, no, that's not paying attention. I just remember, it was over at Fairway, there was just tons of people, and I'm like, boy, they must be really
What
interested in the
happened?
topic. No, they thought I was there presenting on
I just
this big
misunderstood.
change in special ed. I'm like, no.
I do
It's
think,
just-
and I don't know if it works or not, like only 13 people come to the thing yesterday, but like specific topics I think can help too, so like when you were talking about like not having a speaker at every other meeting, like you could possibly think about like a theme.
A theme?
Yeah, a conversation of like, hey, let's talk about how tired we are, right? Or like, let's talk about, you know, like I think like those sort of things kind of can help them go. Like I remember my friend really wanted to go to the one that y'all hosted at the library that was about when that woman came and talked about the behavior, like
Yeah.
de-escalation stuff, and she was so mad she couldn't go to that one because she really needed it. And so I think it's trying to figure out that need of what the families in town need, and now I said need twice. Again, tired. But like maybe there's something that we could do, like a quick like 2-question survey, or like I don't like, so that we're trying to solve the problems that like they care about. So maybe there's something we could do to get info from families.
And Shannon sent one out, didn't she?
She
Summer?
did, and
Who did?
did you post it on Facebook
She
too?
did.
Yeah, yeah.
Shannon sent up
Yeah.
Yeah.
this summer.
Yeah.
I
wonder if there was
I
any.
can, I'll
Definitely
touch base with
check
her.
it.
She felt bad that she couldn't come tonight, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe just check in and see if there was what feedback we got, because that might be
Yeah.
helpful too.
I don't remember that.
Mm-hmm. And Jackie, I don't know if this is appropriate, but I remember being in preschool, and I think my doorway in was, honestly, I think Jen Marshall from Momentum connected me with Amanda DeSantis, and that was my kind of way in. And then of course when I got to Shannon, I was hooked, of course. But it was like a parent that kind of
Yeah.
hooked me in,
Yeah, right.
you know what I
Right.
mean?
Makes
So,
sense.
I've always been willing, to be a helper in that way at that level. If you meet a crying mom,
Thank you.
I'm available. I don't know how to formalize that, but
In another organization that I oversaw once, I did what was called like a micro mentor program, and so it wasn't like a long-term thing because nobody had time for that, but it was like these very specific, you could set up a 30-minute call on like a specific topic, and we each listed like 3 things that you could talk to us about. So like mine would have been like working while having tiny babies, or like whatever it was at the time that maybe I felt, or getting your doctorate while working full-time or whatever. And so like it would basically say like, hey, if you need connection with this, these are 3 topics Erin's willing to talk to somebody for 30 minutes about. And you just met once, and like that was, and then if you had a connection, you could continue it. So that's something
I
like
love
that.
that. That's a
Sometimes
cool
if you-
idea.
that's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
I mean, how could we formalize that?
We literally did it as simple as like a Google form, and then like it was just posted like
So
on the website that we had, and people knew that it was like available.
And once we have that,
It's like a
easy.
community of practice,
It's a
that's what I
great
should say to Julie, we do this with the RISE, like
Yeah.
little topics.
That's a
And
great
we have
idea.
like 8 topics, and we're all joining like a group, if you choose to.
Right.
Yeah, so just things to think about, because you also want to make sure you're like, you gotta just meet people where they are. Like they're just not like
Yeah.
it's so hard.
There's just like touch points, right? There's like where like sometimes what you were saying, like sometimes parents that come here for one day right? It's like, cause they're scared, or cause they've had a hard thing happen, right? And like, the way to keep those from happening is to come more, right? Or to like, but like, that's hard, right? And I think getting participation is hard. It sounds like even district-wide, but like special ed parents, I would argue, are among the most stretched of all parents, right?
Right.
And so it's like the ones who have the least give in their days. And so trying to think about like getting them at touch points to talk with.
I think your cafe idea is great because you're doing that, aren't you doing it during the day when they're in
I
school?
think that's great, yeah.
Well, now we're doing it Saturdays.
Oh, okay,
But-
well, but you're doing it timely and then.
Yeah.
That's good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Me too.
I'll give you one of these to make copies and give to crying
Yes.
moms, okay? And dads.
Yeah. Make some magnets. We got a lot of schwags coming out of this today.
And a lot of my families, it's not as much crying, but like,
What
Darren
in
had
the
like,
heck? What
we're
are we
sitting
doing?
at the meeting, and the referral meetings are great because we're talking about the child, we're discussing, you know, all the information we have in front of us, and then eligibility comes and they're like,
Just worked so long.
Mhm.
and then we go to the IEP and they're like, and then we recommend our program and public school and transportation, and they're just like, and they're babies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I get more of like, parents have a difficult time hearing the information because I think they're just,
Overwhelmed.
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 you know,
Overwhelmed.
they were at home with me, or they're at a cute little nice little daycare, and now they're coming to a public school, and we're
It's
gonna be
very
doing all of
scary.
it, and so I get a lot of parents, I think that rightfully so, just kind of like shut down a little bit, and then the beauty of our program is once they start, you can just
They're
see that
okay,
all
right.
go away, and
Right.
it's wonderful to see, but it's a process,
It is,
and I think during those meetings are the most difficult time.
yeah.
Erin, are we allowed to stream? Cause the other time when we've had great participation is when we were streaming and people could come in on a Zoom.
Yeah, so there's,
I thought there's a lot of rules on that now.
yeah, there's some rules on, the rules got tighter after they went back from the pandemic, but then I think that we probably could get permission from the Secretary of State, cause there's a couple groups I think that are able to do it, and so it might be possible to do
I
a
think
Zoom.
we should ask, cause we would have like 30 or 40
We did get
people,
more
like,
people, yeah.
especially in Cumberland, I had like 30 or 40, this was post-pandemic.
A lot of people would join virtually, especially, and you could do it earlier, it's like dinner time, right? And then, but we had a lot more teachers too, that would join.
They would join,
A lot more.
yeah, teachers would
We
join.
could ask,
We did it right after
Ask
COVID,
Andrew.
remember? We did have a lot of participation.
People would just hop on.
yeah, they
Listen.
changed the
Yeah.
law after, there was like COVID obviously, and then
Yeah.
that law had,
We used
they
to.
extended it once and then it ended,
Oh,
like the
right,
public
yeah,
to
right.
open
We
meetings.
were doing that
during
during
the
the
extension
state,
and then-
that
Yes.
extension.
Yes.
Yeah, during the
Yeah,
extension,
yeah, so there was that window where like it was like 21, 22,
Yeah.
that was the big part, but then I did poke around about it like a year or two ago, and there might be an opportunity, like I remember them saying, like maybe we could get it.
And then we
possibly,
chatting
so-
questions, which
Yeah.
was really nice.
It's in
Yes.
the dinner, the right and whatever, parent,
Sean.
Sean dinner, we sat with, like people from Woonsocket, and they they're virtual only for their
Mhm.
meetings, and so like, at least one school district is.
Yeah.
That's
What-
what I
what
mean,
schools?
Woonsocket.
Woonsocket.
Yeah.
Cause I have to say, like, we really did see some good participation at that point too. Even just some parents that were just listening. And then there were some parents, you know, like some people had their cameras off and stuff, but they all
They
had
were
their
still
names
there.
and.
They were
That's okay.
We did
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and they were
Okay.
listening, and then they
Yeah.
would come to meetings, like I'd be in a meeting with them, like, oh yeah, it was so great to hear about da-da-da, like they're, you know, and it just gave them that different access point, especially in the winter when it's dark at 4 o'clock and no one wants to leave the house.
Yeah, we can check and see how Woonsocket's
I just
doing.
emailed Andrew and let him know that Woonsocket's doing it.
Yeah, sometimes they have to do like hybrid, like some people have to be in the space,
Yeah, I
and then,
wonder-
like there might be like, but we can figure it out,
Yeah, cause we.
if that's
did
something y'all
both.
are interested in.
Yeah, we did, but we
Yeah.
would have this, and then I would like live
Yep.
stream, and I would just put it up on the board.
Yep.
And have it go. I would get there early to make sure all the tech worked.
What else I just thought of? I remember when Maggie was aging out of early intervention, and it was like that weird time where besides Connor being in school, but like I didn't know anybody in the preschool, and like I had no idea what to expect, and I was petrified. Like,
I
I
remember
did
that
not want to send
meeting.
her to school. I wanted to keep her home for like ever.
You didn't wanna take
And-
her.
Yeah, oh, it was awful.
But then when she started,
It was amazing, but like, I wonder
but it's
if
any
we
anticipation.
could somehow talk to like, is it like the early intervention organizations and like have them introduce the families to SELAC, even though they're. they
So
won't
like
be
I do
in the
30-month
district
meetings now, Mary Nelson used to help me with those, but we have a new coordinator, so I'm kinda taking that off of her plate right now while she gets accustomed to the new position. And I was sitting with a family today up at Reynolds Farm, and it was such a great 30 minutes that I was there, talked to the mom, the grandmother was there, it was informal, but it wasn't, collecting it from, like, this is really nice, cause I haven't done them in a while, cause Mary would do them for me, and the only thing is, they're not eligible at that time, so can we still share that
I
information?
think I would still share that
We
information.
can
I was
still
just
share
saying,
that
like,
information
I
with
don't
them.
even know if they're around, but like Easter Seals was who worked with
Easter seals,
Maggie.
yeah, that's who we still work
If I
with,
could contact them and say like, hey, if you have a family that might be entering NK, like tell them to come to this meeting, meet some parents, like.
That's
So
a
you
great
can
idea.
get them, they
Yeah,
can come.
that's a
And
great
I
idea.
can,
That's a
I
great
can,
idea.
I can mention it at the 30-month
Yeah.
meetings,
That's
so
a
we
good
start
idea.
that
And we're
transition
getting
6
them in
months
early
out.
and we'll hook them.
Yeah. No,
I do
absolutely.
think, I do think person to person is the best way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's when a parent reaches out to another parent, that's when we've gotten some
Yeah,
nice.
or like I'll
Participation.
give my number to the Easter Sales and say like call, cause yeah, I would have
Well, I
loved
have
to have
contact
another
with all
parent
the
to talk
EIs that I
to.
work with, Easter Seals being one, Trudeau
Yeah.
Center,
Meetings,
meetings, yeah, so I could, you know, I could share the information with them, but then also share it at my 30-month meetings as well.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure because we didn't.
Yeah, it's an
Yeah,
open
yeah.
meeting.
But it's an open meeting, because, yeah.
I would rather they come.
Okay,
Alright, yeah, I'll do that.
awesome. Anybody else have anything they wanna discuss?
Erin, I don't know what you think, but
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
my thought for Mary's sort of audit is maybe that could be a